Well, howdy, and welcome to the Campfire here at Campfire Park, where the campfire is always crackling and visitors are always welcome, so grab a seat. I'm just here by the campfire playing around with my AM radio, and there's just something special about AM radio, and here I'm tuning around. Oh, let's check out this program. So without further ado, let me turn up the volume and let's listen to what this AM radio host has to say.
Welcome to the bunker with Buckner, and well, let's get right down to it, folks, and let's talk about this fringe middle. The fringe middle, they scare me. I don't know where they stand. None of us do. They're on one side of the fence or the other. I'm sorry, I got my bunker here. One of the lights went on and I had to. Okay, there I have my vacuum system. The fumes accumulate down here in my bunker if I don't have the auxiliary fans on. So, well, right back to it. The fringe middle, quite frankly, their silence, it creeps me out. You know, with the far right, conservatives, and the far left, I know where they stand. They're at the edge of the cliff and they're very vocal. And that makes me feel safe. Okay, I don't know if you heard that, but the motion detector outside my bunker must have detected something, and the double deadbolt just went on. So let me tell you, folks, that could very well be the fringe middle out there, and that's why I came to this bunker. I just didn't. Everywhere I looked, I was surrounded by the fringe middle, and they weren't saying anything, and I just fled to this bunker. And finally, I feel safe because I have a voice here where I can reach out to the safe ground of that far left and far right, where we can just have a good, honest, and very open, loud argument about, what's wrong. And especially with that fringe middle. The only thing I don't like about my bunker, now that I think about it, is the silence. The silence kind of freaks me out. All right, well, here I think we have a call coming in. Let's take the call. In the bunker with Buckner.
Well, folks, this is In the Bunker with Buckner, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Buckner, but he broadcast his AM radio show out of a bunker here at Campfire Park and down the valley yonder. And I kind of generally know where it is, but I try not to bother him because he's a little bit of a hermit, if that makes sense, and he kind of enjoys his solitude. Well, here he's about to come back on. Let me turn back up the volume here.
Welcome back to In the Bunker with Buckner, where we talk about that fringe middle ground and their menacing silence. Well, let's go right to a caller.
Hey, Buck. Hey, the Buck. I've been listening to you ever since I can remember. You're my favorite. You tell it like it is. Let me tell you.
Thank you.
Well, here's my question for you is, where does the middle ground stand, on...
Well, that's a good question, because we don't know where they stand, and that's just the thing. We know where the extreme left stands and the extreme right, on the cliff, very clearly and safely messaging their signal through appropriate, internet outlets, in the comfort of their own bunkers, I think of I've got the big bunker here, but I think of all my listeners, living in their little bunkers, and it's a silent majority, quite frankly, that's out there, not in a bunker, just in their menacing silence. You don't know where they stand, and that's what I've been saying. That's my mantra, and that's a really good question. Thanks for calling in. Well, let's take one more question. All right.
Hey, Buck. I've been listening to you for, 5 years. You're the best. My question is, out in that bunker, what do you do for free time?
Well, there's
there's just so much for me to do out here. You know, I'm busy in my research, but in my spare time, I like to, go out and take a little walk. Not a far walk, really, because it's kind of silent out there in the woods. I'm in the middle of the woods, and the silence kind of freaks me out. So I like to come back to my bunker where I can, feel a little safe. And it's kind of silent in my bunker too. Be honest, the whole silence thing has me really and that's the middle ground's fault. They're silent, and that silent, they've kind of give silence a bad name. Really, I used to like the silence. I never liked the silence, but it's the fringe middle, and I think we have to do a real honest. We need to come together, and the extremes on the left and the right. I think that's the one thing that really ties us together is our disdain for the silent, menacing, silent majority. And maybe that's why I'm out here. I feel like I'm out at the front lines of the silence, in the woods, in this bunker, locking the doors and, guarding my space. Well, that's an excellent question. Thank you, folks. We're going to have to go to another commercial. Thank you for listening to In the Bunker with Buckner. Yeah, he does take a lot of commercial breaks, doesn't he? I think he calls them campfire breaks. And I guess by the campfire, he knows that, they're hosted here at Campfire Park, and he knows that, we're doing the commercial break or the campfire break. And here at Campfire Park, we do campfire programming. And I think Buck fits under, that general category. And he's, when you sit around the campfire, you often think about, your thoughts on life. And I think that's what Buck is doing with his In the Bunker programming. So, here he comes back on. Let me turn back on the volume.
Welcome, folks, to In the Bunker with Buckner, and I'm your host, Buck Buckner, and I'm in my bunker in the middle of nowhere, and quite frankly, I am freaked out by the silence. I'm freaked out by the silent majority. You ever notice? That's why I fled to my bunker anywhere I was going. It was just a bunch of silent people around me, and they were, quite frankly, you didn't know where they stand. The menace, the fringe middle, I call them, and the people on the left and the people on the right at the edge of the cliff, in their own bunkers, where they're standing, and that's my audience. They tune into me, and it's like the Simon and Garfunkel song, "Hello Darkness, Hello Silence, My Old Friend." Silence isn't our friend, it's the enemy, and that's the menacing fringe middle is all about. And sorry about being canceled my last show. We had some problems with the auxiliary fans here. If they don't run at a certain speed, I had to get a double one. Fumes were accumulating, and it was affecting my thinking process, and I was starting to we got those fixed, and now I'm seeing things a little more clearly, and glad to be back on with all my listeners. Well, we have another caller coming in. Let me take this call. Hey, Buck, it's me again. Well, thanks for calling in. Usually you're my one solid, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to know, you're not too far from where they're doing that campfire talk at Campfire Park. Are you going to go to that show, later on this evening?
Well, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about because nobody knows where my bunker is. And it's in a remote corner of the world that really you could be out here standing right in front of it and you never see it. And no, I'm not going to the campfire talk because quite frankly, I'm nowhere close to that Campfire Park or where they're giving the talk. And quite frankly, even if I were, I'm kind of freaked out about walking through the night, through the woods at night. You know how silent that is? And I'm not afraid of silence. I'm just afraid of the silent majority, that menacing
middle ground, the menacing middle as we call them. And so no, I won't go just for that reason. And that's final. That's final. So we're going to go to a commercial break. Thank you for your call. And this is Buckner from the bunker. Remember, there's safety at the edges because it's as far as you can get from the menacing middle. I'm Buckner, and this is In the Bunker. Well, I don't know if there's going to be a grand finale with Buck. I think he just likes to, ramble on about what he rambles on about. And I don't think, he's searching, for a lot of things. And I'm not sure he's so much interested in finding them as he's, keen on hearing himself speak. And he's kind of entertaining, he's harmless, just something about the AM radio here at the Campfire. And, maybe we'll listen to a little bit more of Buck. Otherwise, feel free to hang around, and I appreciate you stopping by Campfire Park, my campfire here, where the campfire is always crackling and visitors are always welcome, and we're always trying to tune in to some campfire programming. So we'll catch you next time. Well, welcome to In the Bunker with Buckner. And do you hear that? That's right, folks. Be afraid. That's the silent majority, what I call the fringe middle. So, boy, do we have a show for you today. And we have a couple callers, and we're just going to go to a campfire break here, and we'll be right back. And remember, folks, fear the middle. Get closer to the edge. And don't listen to them, and quite frankly, you don't have to worry about that because there's silence. Fear the silence, folks. Fear the silence. Buckner, In the Bunker. Well, there you have it, folks, and once again, I hope you enjoyed it, and this is the Cowboy at the Campfire, where the campfire is always crackling and visitors are always welcome, and we're just going to sit here and listen to the crackle a little bit. And, feel free to hang around as long as you like.
Welcome back, folks, to In the Bunker with Buckner. And I'm your host, Buckner, and in my bunker, in my big bunker, telling it like it is, telling you about how the fringe middle is trying to, and their silent majority is trying to, really rattle. They rattle my cage, quite frankly. Sometimes I get tongue-tied just thinking about trying to talk about the fringe middle. And I don't like their silence, quite frankly. And the only thing that I like less than that silence is kind of when you hear a creepy noise at night. I'm already creeped out by the silence, but then I hear a noise, and then you hear another, and then so I left the bunker and I went out, and this is a good story, and it's a short one, and well, lo and behold, you know what's going on. There's a campfire talk tonight, and wait a minute, and I don't. This is what a caller called me in and told me that there's a campfire talk. I'm of course, nowhere near Campfire Park. I'm at an undisclosed location in a bunker that you can be walking over and no one would even know I am there. That's how it is in the bunker. And my surveillance system is top of the line technology. So this caller was describing how, they don't like the silence either, and there was, but the silence was interrupted because they live near Campfire Park, and there's a little more traffic than usual going to see a campfire talk. So
Speaking of callers, here's a call coming in. Let's take this call, but first, we're going to take a campfire break, and we'll be right back. Buckner in the bunker with Buckner.
Where did you find it, Ron?
They actually, this tree was leaning, and they cut a few trees down on one of the vacant lots.
Oh, really?
Where I live.
What was it? Was it
Is
an
it
oak?
oak? No, it's pine. Is it?
Australian pine.
Australian.